Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. I got going a little bit later than normal this morning, but I am going and I've got my cinnamon in my coffee. All systems are go. I first wanted to show you this tweet from Peter Schiff. I've told you before, I have been following Peter Schiff for the last 10 or 15, at least 10 years. And he is one of the guys that has been calling out all of this central bank manipulation of our money that's been going on for the last probably 50 plus years across the world, but especially the last 10 years, because all of the central banks have taken it up a notch. He tweeted this out. During an interview on CNBC, Jim Grant said, "We are living in a most extraordinary moment of monetary manipulation, and investors would do well to keep this in mind even when things look like they're plugging along nicely." And Peter Schiff took a lot more of this guy's quotes and he put them on Peter Schiff's website. This is the rest of what that guy said. He says, "Central banks the world over have commandeered financial markets in the interest of macroeconomic policy. The United States is not even the worst offender. The Japanese have destroyed their bond market. Mario Draghi has done almost the same in Europe." Grant also warned that despite all the talk about muted inflation, it could sneak up on us very quickly. An historical observation that inflation came upon us in the 60s on little cat's feet. The leading indicator of inflation in the early 60s were rates of inflation less than 2%, often less than 1%. There were 4 or 5 years in the early 60s in which nothing happened with inflation. Then suddenly the world changed. And this is the Digital Asset Investor talking now. I've heard my father tell stories many times about interest rates in the 15 to 20% range back in the 70s and how scary that was. So moving along, historians look back and find all kinds of reasons for these shifts, and a bad harvest in Purdue, mismanaged Fed policy, or Democratic shift. But I would observe, historically speaking, inflation or changes in the price level are often surprises. In fact, many things to us in markets come as surprises. Grant said he believes we live in an age of inflation, and I believe we look back on this as a period in which inflation is building, and that one day inflation will be a ponderable number, say 4%. And this could happen in a couple of years, and 4% in this environment would be a very disturbing thing. And what he's talking about is these central banks around the world, like the United States, they have kept interest rates at almost zero, which has never been done in the history of the world. But they've done it for the last 10 years, and it is insanity to do that. And meanwhile, they're running the debts up to unsustainable levels. We're almost at $25 trillion, I believe. Now, what he's saying there about how when we get up in some of these higher inflation rates, and these guys are forced to raise interest rates, the debt that they have locked on the world becomes a situation where you can't even handle the interest on the debt. You've gotten yourself in such bad debt problem, and that's what this is really about. And it's the perfect recipe. The reason I talk about this on a digital asset channel is that it's the perfect recipe for an economic disaster where people start going bankrupt, governments start going bankrupt. And when those governments begin to go bankrupt, what are they going to do? They're going to look to the citizens through a bailout, or I believe it's not going to be bailouts anymore. I've told you before, it's going to be bail-ins. They've already written it up. Bail-ins. Your bank will close. They'll declare a bank holiday. They'll close, and they will shave your savings out of your bank account 10 or 20%, and they'll say it's your patriotic duty, when it's really just the politicians and the central bankers who have destroyed your money, and now they're going to steal your money to fix the problems that they created. And so that is the environment we're in. Well, the reason that's so significant for you as a digital asset holder, in my opinion, is the one test run that has been done on bail-ins was in Cyprus. And in Cyprus, look up, Google Cyprus and Bitcoin, and look up what happened when they closed those bank accounts and took some of the Cyprus citizens' savings. Or maybe say that Cypriot citizen. I'm not sure exactly how to say that. But anyway, just do a Google on that anytime. I bring this up over and over, and the reason I do is because I have new people listening to this channel. But if you want to see, crypto exploded when they did that test run bail-in, and now banks across this world have bail-in written into their documents. I've seen it. So anyway, moving along. This is from X-Men XRP. This guy's been sending me great stuff for the last few weeks, doing a really good job. At XRP33, give him a follow. Sent me this. Okay, we are now beginning to see the Congress and a lot of these legislators around the world. They are getting off of their butts and they are trying to put through pro-crypto regulation. And so this is a really good thing for all of us. I'm not going to read this whole article. I'm going to read you just a little bit of it. Submitted as House Resolution 528, entitled to provide a safe harbor from licensing and registration for certain non-controlling blockchain developers and providers of blockchain services. This one I talked about yesterday. But then they say next up will be the resolution supporting digital currencies and blockchain technology and the Blockchain Regulatory Certainty Act. Separate, but also potentially to be reintroduced, is the Token Taxonomy Act, which is possibly the strongest, as it clearly removes the security classification from all tokens. So I would say to all of you listening, there's nothing more important than that we can do in the XRP community and any other digital asset community than to show our support to Congress and other governments around the world for anything that they are doing like this. Show them that your state, whoever your congressman is, or however it works in your country, let them know that this is what you want. You want pro-crypto legislation, and it's going to change the world. So moving along, and this is happening in Wyoming from XRP at XRP Crypto Wolf. Definite follow. Lawmakers from the U.S. state of Wyoming have introduced legislation that would allow the issuance of tokenized stock certificates using blockchain tech. 2019 sounds like a great year for regulation clarity on blockchain and crypto that will be great for XRP. And you are darn right. Also, XRP Crypto Wolf, Thailand's official stock exchange is applying for a cryptocurrency license with the finance ministry so they can become an above-the-board digital asset exchange. Having a country's stock exchange sell crypto would allow crypto to become more mainstream. Of course it would. This is what's happening, folks. The core stock exchanges across the world are going to, the current stock exchanges are literally going to be swallowed up by crypto, because those exchanges are going to be tokenized. Everything on them is going to be tokenized, whether it's stocks, bonds, or whatever that they're selling is going to be tokenized. And the world sees this unfolding. And the beautiful part is that your XRP, my XRP, is going to be traded side by side with those tokenized stocks and bonds and all of the other things. And that creates a lot of liquidity. That means instead of the 120 something billion dollars that your XRP is traded beside right now, instead of that, it's traded beside trillions of dollars. The end game of that is a pretty obvious conclusion to draw, in my opinion. Okay. Next, German crypto bank opens for business. Solaris Bank wins digital asset deal with Boris Stuttgart. If you remember, yesterday C3 Nick had tweeted about the Bison app, which that Börse Stuttgart is Germany's second largest stock exchange, and through their Bison app, they are going to begin trading crypto, and it includes XRP. And now that this German crypto bank is going to work with them, and they're onboarding 40,000 pre-registered customers for its Bitcoin and Euro deposit accounts. And so this is, I mean, the banks are beginning to pop up also. You have banks where you'll have fiat side by side with digital assets. How exciting is that? Okay, moving along. And this is interesting from Stephen Diep at DIEPSANH. He's a very interesting guy in this game because he finds these really small, short video snippets and he posts them. And many times they're videos that have been going around, but he finds something inside of them that was said that was very interesting. And this one is very interesting. In fact, he says so. SendFriend used to build or experiment their service on Stellar platform before they officially partnered with Ripple for production use of XRapid. This is David Lighton, the founder of SendFriend. So he mentions, this is an older video where he says they're working with Stellar. And so the important point there is they are now officially a Ripple partner that's going to be using XRP, which means they must have left Stellar. And that tells you something, you know, and I want to make a point here. Now, I am not even close to a fan of Stellar versus in terms of comparing it to XRP. I'm a 99+% owner in XRP. I do own some Stellar. I've watched this market for the last 5 years, and Stellar and Ripple, they kind of move in a correlated way. When Ripple goes crazy, Stellar goes crazy, but it stays behind XRP, but it kind of moves with it a lot of times. I'm not saying it's going to do that into the future, but the reason I also have a little bit of ownership in Stellar is because all this proof of work thing, the proof of work problems that are going on, Stellar is not proof of work. And I believe that there's going to be a lot of winners, and I believe over the course of the next year or so, in the short to mid run, there will be plenty of good things that happen with a lot of these digital assets that are not proof of work, Stellar being one of them. I don't believe they have even 1/100th of the future that XRP and Ripple do, but we are so early in this game that I think that there will be a lot. There's not going to be one winner. There's going to be several, and I believe the ones in that top 10 or 15 that are not proof of work are going to do well. And I'll make that point further here in a second. This is from Grayscale today. Okay, Grayscale adds Ripple competitor Stellar to crypto portfolio. I believe that Wall Street and a lot of these asset management firms will be part of the reason that a lot of winners are picked in this game. And obviously, just looking at this, Stellar is one of the companies that has been picked as that's going to be a winner. These that you see that are beginning to get put into trusts and things like that, they're obviously going to be a part of the batch that gets to go mainstream. There will be some that come out of nowhere that go mainstream, but I believe that Stellar will be one of them. They don't even have bordering on what Ripple has going on. They don't even have bordering on the deals or anything else. But they're in that top 15, and they're not proof of work. They've been here a long while. They've got some staying power, and so I think it's not a bad one to own. Anyway, says this is from Grayscale. We are excited to announce two big developments. First, today marks the launch of Grayscale Stellar Lumens Trust. Investors can now gain exposure to the price movement of XLM through a traditional investment vehicle. Okay, now here's where. For those of you that are like, oh, well, that's stupid, Stellar. Yeah, well, XLM, if you put it beside XRP, yes, it is stupid. But that does not mean that in the short to mid run that there's not going to be a lot of winners. And it doesn't ever hurt to have, if you can afford to do so, and you're not investing more than you can afford to lose, to have a little bit of other ones. It's not going to kill you. And here's part of the reason it's not going to kill you. That same company, Grayscale, who is putting out all these investment trusts. Remember, back on December the 8th, they were, I believe it was in the streets of New York, filming this commercial. This commercial, who knows, this commercial could come out during the Super Bowl. I have seen Grayscale. I was literally in the hospital about to have a procedure about a month ago, and I was laying there and I saw a Grayscale advertisement come across CNBC, and I've seen more than one since then. These guys are about to do some serious marketing, and anybody, I mean, all these things, these are all about to be marketed to the public, okay? And that's significant. Speaking of the public and pop culture, let's move on. This is from Tron Foundation today, over in San Francisco, January 17th to January 18th. I've talked about Tron a little bit. I'm not really telling you this because of Tron. I'm telling you this to show you about digital assets. I've been talking about how this is going to the pop culture, and it's about to get really interesting. Well, what better way to take it to pop culture? This is one thing that the founder of Tron does well, Justin Sun. He has gotten Kobe Bryant, CEO and president of Kobe Inc. and NBA legend, will be attending Tron's first international conference in San Francisco as a special guest to share his vision on entrepreneurship. This is crypto and digital assets are being taken to pop culture. And I've been saying this a lot. It's been part of my theme, is that 2019, you're going to begin to see this. And this is all for the purpose of selling digital assets. And they're going to begin to come on to these exchanges that average people have access to, and people will begin talking about them. And instead of being made fun of, you and I will all of a sudden be the geniuses who were there and saw it before all of our friends that were laughing at us. And all of a sudden, instead of calling you an idiot, they're going to call you a genius and a thinker and things like that. Finally, I wanted to show you this. This Hoder did a blog today, XRP by the numbers, and I wanted to take you through some of his numbers. If you don't follow the XRP community blog, it's xrpcommunity.blog, and Hoder's my favorite blogger, but he puts a lot of good information out here. I wanted to take you to some of his numbers. Adoption, size of sponsoring organization, Ripple, 300 employees, 7 worldwide offices, 200 customers. You'll see I'm a member of Coil here. Coil being another use case for XRP. Those of you that haven't looked at it, go to coil.com. Number of official XRapid partners, 8. Number of official XRapid exchanges, 4. Banks using XRapid. Of course, for the last 5 years, they've told us that the banks would not use XRP. We've got one bank using XRP, and that's the first. Credit unions using XRapid, 1. Remittance processors using XRapid, 6. Activated funded wallets, 1.5 million. Number of exchanges listing XRP, greater than 232. Size of XRP community on Twitter, 1 million. XRapid, very large, market as measured in trillions. These are use statistics. Let me go down a little bit further. XRP network financial statistics, daily volume 500 million, market cap 33 billion. XRP performance stats, 1,500 TPS transactions per second on the chain, 4-second settlement time. The scalability, 50,000. Number of successful closed ledgers, 44 million. Energy consumption, 0.00053 TWH. Number of XRP validators, 118. Ripple run XRP validators, 7. This is what answers the decentralization question. Number of XRP validators, 118. The ones run by Ripple are 7. Percentage of Ripple run XRP validators on recommended UNL, 27%. This number shows you that it's decentralized. XRP validator code governance, number of amendments, 23. Number of XRP validated code contributors, 63. Total supply, 100 billion. XRP locked in escrow, 53 billion. Distributed XRP supply, 41 billion. Wallet statistics, you are in the top 1% if you have 73,000 XRP. ledger fees, 10 drops, 10 1/millionths of 1 XRP. I just thought those numbers were really interesting to take a look at. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button. Tell your friends and family that Hooter has the numbers today, so take a look. Thanks for listening.